figured I'd go live with the stream. It's been a while, so we'll see who comes on. Figured I'd touch bases and see how everybody's doing with the weather. I mean, it's definitely been a mixed bag with the weather here. I'm going to see if I can get this done up a little bit. Maybe Santa Claus Fred is on. Maybe he's on lunch break, so we'll see. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. So we're out here in upstate New York, dealing with the rain. We've gotten actually a lot of rain up in this area, and I figured I'd pop on and see if I could talk to you about what the weather's been doing out by you. Hey, Sam, how are you? Glad you could join. So how's the weather with you, Sam? Is anything happening down your way? One of the areas up here in upstate New York, we've gotten about 6 inches of rain. My particular area, I think we've had about 2 inches, maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain. It has been crazy amount of water coming down. Well, hot and humid, but no rain. Yeah, we've gotten a ton of rain. In fact, it's raining out right now. Here, let me bring you over to the window here. Oops, gonna bring a little road trip here. So this is looking at my side deck with all the rain coming down. Just a crazy amount of rain, and then out the back window. Doesn't really give you a good perspective of the amount of rain, but anyway, that's kind of going on. Oh, look at that, my YouTube page. How do you like that? Oops. And all my to-do list. Right, turn that around. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's raining crazy. We're definitely making it up on the amount of rain. My wife was going on the way to work today, and of course got delayed. She got down to the first intersection of our area and at the stoplight, and she had to take another road, so she went down that road, and then of course ran into a roadblock because of the rain and flooding. So let's see, we've gotten a lot of rain. Barely, yeah, exactly. When it's raining like this, and watch out, when you get this much rain, the grass is going to explode in growth. Last time I mowed here with all the rain that we've had, it's been so heavy, it's been crazy. Hey, Rick, wow, there you go. Wow, I'm glad to have you on. Thanks for joining. Really super happy that you joined. We're just talking about the rain and stuff. It's been pouring its eyeballs out here. But, I mean, I showed a short little clip here with the amount of rain that's been falling. I don't know if you're getting rain down by you, but let's see, you're saying you're letting your lawn dry today. Okay, yeah, there's no drying today because here, I'll show you one more time. I'll go over to the window just in case you missed it. So, of course, this is my office. But going over to the window here, you can see the deck outside is getting nailed. But then you kind of look outside a bit, and it's definitely raining at a good pace. And that's a picture of me and my kids. Isn't that nice? There you go. That's when I didn't have gray hair. And then looking out the back window, it's raining pretty good. That's our little burn pile out back. So, yeah, it's, let's see, turn this around again. Get a little perspective on my office here. Let's see, there we go. There's a bed over there, spare bed, closet, and chair and desk and all that goodness. So, woo. See me move around the room, get you all busy, huh? So yeah, how's everybody been doing? Let's see, Rick said with all this rain, I'll need to build some collection. Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that. I was listening, I follow a lot about what's going on down in Myrtle Beach, and they were talking about, you know, how they get a lot of their water from one certain area, but I'm thinking, you know, if you're having any water issues down there with the amount of rain, you could just set up water collection systems. Oops, we lost somebody, so not sure who we lost, but hopefully you'll come back. But anyway, yeah, it's just been crazy. And so, you know, once this dries up a little bit, the grass is going to be like so high and thick, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, I haven't done it live for a while now. It's been busy around here at the house. We've been doing a lot of work on the house, getting things cleared out, and you know what have you. I've been having a whole bunch. I've got a whole bunch of ideas on videos to do. But like a lot of, you have all these great ideas, but time seems to go by fast. I don't know how many of you experience that with time flying by in retirement. It just, you do a couple things and before you know it's noontime now. It's already what, 1:15, and I've hardly done a thing all day. I'm just not being very productive. So, but we're looking forward to things coming up. I mean, the work here at the house is winding down, so there's not as much here to do anymore. So I'm hoping to do more streams. I've got a whole bunch of ideas for videos and stuff. So how's things going with you guys besides? Rick, I've enjoyed some of your videos coming out there. That's great. And I see your channel's starting to grow. That's good. And Sam, I'm following your channels for sure. And it's nice to, see you getting some traction on the other channels as well. And it was nice to see, I don't know, Sam, if you're still on, CG Anime had written a nice little thing for yourself and me on his channel. So that was really nice of him to do. So I appreciate that. But, yeah, all sorts of things going on here. So just figured I'd pop on. Let's see. Rick says, between now and Saturday, finishing my fence, trim a couple of hedges, and play in your garden. Mow the lawn and play in your garden. Yeah. So you're let's see. So you're building a new fence out back for that, and what sort of things are you planting in your garden this year? That's one thing I really hadn't done this year. Last year we planted tomatoes back out on the deck, and we had a number of, yeah, life is good. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, there's nothing, I don't know, with all the stuff I keep busy with in retirement, I don't know how I ever had time to work. I'm just having a good old time. And I'm waiting for my wife to retire, which should be soon enough. See if I can angle that a little better there. Yeah, just waiting for her to retire, and yeah, it'll be nice. The projects are coming to a close. My brother actually just built a new deck out in Western Mass. He had a really neat setup. Let's see. Rick says, repairing it, garden, tomatoes, cukes, basil, parsley. Oh, nice. That's very nice. Has it been a good garden year for you so far? With all the stuff coming up? I mean, we're certainly getting enough rain to help out those gardens, for sure. And it's nice having your own garden, because you can, growing your own stuff. Oh, especially with all this stuff going on with produce and all those other concerns with, the stuff, the pesticides that they spray on. Let's see, so far it's so good, delicious, yes. And you don't have all of the pesticides on your vegetables either. You don't have to be concerned with, all the stuff. Yeah, lettuce, yep. Yeah, you don't have to be concerned with all the pesticides. What you spray on is what goes on, So if you want to keep it natural, you keep it natural, and you don't have to think about all the additives. So I'm looking for, maybe next summer I'll do more. Definitely get some lettuce going. What I'd like to do one day is do a greenhouse. I don't know if you ever thought about doing that, Rick. But I've seen, my brother used to have, he lived down on the Cape Cod, and he had a farm called Not Enough Acres. So on his farm, he'd grow all sorts of things, but he had a couple greenhouses. And I remember and he would grow stuff in the soil during the winter because of all of the mulch, so it was covered in one of those circular domes. Let's see. Yeah, please watch more of my videos. That would be, I would love it. I haven't been getting many views, but I wanted to post those things on Myrtle Beach area. I had a bunch of things on Murals Inlet, which be sure to watch those because it's interesting enough. It's a very tidal area with the tide coming in and out. So I got some video with the inlet being full, and then with the tide out, it's such a drastic difference between, and it's such a beautiful area. Oh my goodness. And down there, the boardwalk, Marside Boardwalk, it was beautiful down there. We, you'd eat at a restaurant there, and right outside the restaurant is the boardwalk. So it goes probably maybe 300 yards, maybe 400 yards of boardwalk. Let's see. Oh, okay. Loves Murals and visited there a long time ago. Love the beach. Yeah, I haven't made it to the beach yet, so I'm hoping to get down there again. But Murals Inlet is wonderful. We found one place where that park was, where I did a lot of filming, and we just stumbled upon it. Just happened to stumble on it. But we ate several good meals at a restaurant down that way, and then afterwards you just walk down the steps to the boardwalk, and going up and down the boardwalk again. I had a video give you a little perspective on it, but it was beautiful. And you'd walk up and down the boardwalk, and of course they'd have all sorts of boating. You'd have skidoos there. You'd have fast motorboats. You can rent the skidoos and go out on the inlet when it's full. But when the tide's out, let's see, do you drive to Myrtle Beach, and if so, which way do you travel? Actually, when we visited Myrtle Beach, we first visited back in 2024. We visited that area, was out there for about a week, and then we drove down that time. So that time we drove, let's see, we went down, what way did we go? We went from New York, we went down Route 88 to Route 81, and 81 would go through Pennsylvania and into, I believe, Virginia, and then it cut over to a couple other routes. But I tell you what, Route 81 is interesting because that's a trucking route through Pennsylvania, and that can get very busy. It's a 2-lane at some point, two cars going two car lanes each way, but a lot of trucks driving it, and it can get backed up, and sometimes there's accidents there. And the trucks, you get out of the truck's way. I'm telling you what, driving it is not, you have to be on your top game. So, but we would drive down that way, and then we would, where did we cut through? We went through, I forget the routes, but we wound it up probably, we came into more of a rural part of South Carolina, and then we drove in to Myrtle Beach itself. But we were there in April, and the area at that point wasn't really starting to grow in, so you had a lot of the brown growths and the fields, there was nothing really happening, so it looked really pretty desolate. But then as you get more into Myrtle Beach, it's better. Let's see, if and when you traveled again, we're south of DC, about 35. Oh, okay, I-81 is a lot better than, oops, and I lost, where did the check go? Let's see, top chat, live chat, let me go live chat, I'm on the iPad. Let's see, 81 is better than the I-95. Yes, we had to, years ago, let's see, on the way back from that 2024 trip we went down, we visited some friends that are in, let's see, they were in Virginia at Williamsburg. So they bought a place in Williamsburg, Virginia. Beautiful, oh my gosh. I don't know if you've ever been to Williamsburg, Virginia, but it's absolutely gorgeous. But we stayed with them overnight, but we rerouted over there. Normally we go up the other way, up 81, but we went via 95 and then had to cut across the state again. But boy, 95 is no bargain. And you had to drive through all of the port areas where the Navy has a base, and that was le challenge, to say, put it mildly. So, but yeah, that's where we go. So you're just south of DC. So Rick, you're in Virginia then, right? Is that what you're saying? Williamsburg is great, right along I-64. That's it. We usually travel Route 17 when we're going to, let me put this, 17 when we're headed to Virginia Beach. Okay. So you're in, let me get this right. So you're in Virginia then. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you must, I don't know if you're near where Steve's corner is or Steve's retirement corner is. I'm not sure exactly the area he's in. Roger that, south of there you go. Roger Dodger, south of DC, north of Richmond. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where Steve, excuse me, Steve's retirement corner is, but he's in Virginia. I think it's Virginia somewhere. But you know, he's a neat guy. He's fun to follow. He's got the 2 channels, so yeah, that'd be, who knows, maybe one day. Let's see, Steve is near Richmond, Hopeful. Okay, have you ever gone over to done a get together with Steve or not? But excuse me. he would be, I think Steve is in, no, I don't think Steve is in Mississippi. I think he's in Virginia. Who's in, let's see, Retire Inspire with Sam, he's in Alabama. So, and I know there's some folks in Mississippi. I forget who. Whoops, we lost somebody. So, but yeah, it'd be fun to do more traveling. I'm open to get down to Myrtle Beach again. Definitely love that area if you can. If you couldn't tell that I like Myrtle Beach, and it's different too. Let's see, negative. Not yet, but been thinking about it. He's a little over an hour away. That's not bad, Rick. It's not bad that he's only an hour away. Because, up here in upstate New York, even some close friends of ours, if we were to go over their place, it's about an hour away. It's not uncommon for us to drive a big distance. I was talking to somebody down in Myrtle Beach, and they were saying, if anything over 20 minutes of a drive, people consider that a long drive. But for me to hop in the car and take 45 minutes to an hour to see somebody is really not that big of a deal. Yeah, I'd like to meet up with Steve sometime too. I think he's a pretty cool guy. Like to, maybe meet up with you someday if I'm through the area. Who knows? We're thinking of Myrtle Beach, so more announcements to come with that. But yeah, check out the other videos, Rick, and let me know what you think. Drop a comment, if you have any suggestions of what you think might help them. But yeah, I think we're supposed to get more rain for the next day or so. And I'm hoping it dries up soon so I can get that, because once that lawn dries up, it's going to be growing crazy. Let's see, I can understand thinking Steve is from Mississippi. He's got this other, yes he does. Steve's very relaxed, and I like when he jokes around with, he gives himself more days off during the week. And that's so true. There's two guys that I follow. You might be interested in these. I'm just going to see if I can. There is a couple of YouTube channels that I follow of guys over in England. One is a guy called Level 50 Lifestyle. He's really quite an interesting guy. He's let's see, it's at Level 50 Lifestyle. He's good. And then there's another guy who I follow who does some stuff, and he is. Let's see, let's Level 50 Lifestyle, and then there's, where is it? I want to recommend this other person. Where is he at? I just finished watching him. Come on. I know he's there. Oh, here we go. Nick Maurer. So for Nick, let's see, his channel name is at Nick, NickJMaher. So he's very good. And, it's interesting to listen to these guys across, as they say, across the pond, and get their perspective. And I just love listening to their accents and, how they talk, their thinking, and just a different perspective of things. Another kind of channel that I've had fun was, let's see, what is this? This is Curiosity Incorporated. That's another good channel, at Curiosity Incorporated. They're from Canada, and they pick up different, they work storage units or they clean out things, but they collect and sell collectibles. Hey, Robert, how are you? Thanks for joining. Hey, Robert, I love the video that you did. Guys, if you haven't seen Robert's video, go over and check it out. He went over to, I believe, Norway on a Norwegian cruise, and he had such a great perspective. He went up, had a trolley car, I guess they went up to one of the peaks or one of the higher elevations where they could look out, and you could get to see the cruise ship that they were on, and it was just so fantastic, and a lot of people up there, but what a fun video that was, Robert, just seeing that. And if you haven't checked out Robert's channel, yeah, great views. Yeah, and if you haven't checked out his channel, guys, I mean, you really need to check it out. It's a lot of fun. And Robert, you're like I kind of look at you like a big brother, because you've been in retirement a few years, just a couple years more than me. but it really gives me perspective hearing your videos, and really helps my thinking, and I really appreciate your content and stuff. So check him out. Just check out his URL in the chat, and go check out his channel. Show him some love over there. He's got some great content and a lot of good videos. So yeah. So oh, absolutely, Robert. My pleasure. I mean, I've gotten so much out of your channel. I'm going to be making some different videos here. I have a whole list of different ideas. We were just so I've got a list of different ideas, and I've got more on the computer, but I may, well, hopefully I'll do some, as they say, talking head videos soon. So yeah, absolutely, Rick. I think it's good to share what we're each watching. I know it's going to differ between each one of us. And of course, we would like everybody who we follow to follow us and to hear and see our content for sure. I've been kind of on the border of the 639 or so, or 630 something views, but I haven't posted a lot, and honestly, I can understand why things haven't grown as much, or the types of videos that I posted. I get it that not everybody wants to see about South Carolina Murals Inlet, but honestly, for me, I just wanted on, hey guys, Deb and Mike, hey, welcome. It's good to see you guys. Dude, you got to, yeah. Well, I am excited about the 639. Of course, we all get, I don't know about you, but I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I want to do better. I want to get out there with them. But, again, for me, I want to post the things that I want to post. And also for my kids in the future, they could see what their old dad experienced. So to put on videos about Murals Inlet, or a flight back, or cool things that I've seen on the airplane, or the difference in tides in Murals Inlet, or a nice walk down by the stream. These are all different things that, in a way, I'm logging things for the kids for the future. My son is 28 years old now, and my daughter is 20. Let's see, Gabby's going to be 24. And so, I'm 63 at this point, so I want to really post a lot of things, and it's a great way to have it on there. YouTube is essentially acting as a archive of my thoughts and of things. So, but I love doing the channel, absolutely. And it's funny. I watch all these different things on how to do YouTube videos right. And I was joking around with, let's see, what is the fellow's name? Because Mr. Tim, he's got a terrible memory for names. So come on, I've got. Where is it? Oh no, hold on. I'm gonna get his name here. Bear with me. Ah, yes, Brian Harder. Yes, Brian Harder. You gotta check out his channel. I like Brian because he's. Let's see. So Brian Harder. I'll give you his URL. So it's at Brian Harder, at BrianHarder 1960. I'm guessing that was the year he was born. But check out his channel. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. He just shoots from the hip. He kind of calls it as it is, speaks his mind plainly. He just got, or is in the process of getting monetized. So congratulations to him. He had that. I guess he had a video that did really well. So I'm super happy for him, as I am anybody who gets monetized. I mean, there's all sorts of different folks that There's the painter Pops, who is doing well on his channel, which I'm super happy for him. I guess even, oh, look at that, Mike the agent retiree is doing a live right now as I'm doing my live. Mike, how can you do that? Having a live while I'm doing my live? Go figure. We're stepping on each other's lives. I was doing video lives on Tuesdays night, but I found that by the time my wife got home on Tuesday night, let's see. Rick says, I'm going to bring up the chat. Forgive me, I'm on the iPad here. At our age, it's time to say TOTGAF. Laugh out loud. Whoops. I gotta go back to it because I missed it. Sorry, Rick. TOT told to give. That's funny. Okay, Devin, Mike, you're scroll, quit watching. Yeah, you know, the YouTube video thing is different on each platform. I know, like on my iPad here, it's so different. But I love it on the iPad, and I'll tell you why, because I could do stuff like this. So I can switch the view, and for those who didn't, you know, I can look out my window at all the rain going on. So, oh yeah, that picture over there on the mantle, that's me with my two children. That's back before I was not gray. And my two kids, they would crawl up on my lap and, oh, thank you. And they would crawl up on my lap and snuggle. So I used to love that. And thanks, yeah, that trip was fun. And I took a lot of video, and it took a while to kind of go through it because I wanted to break it up into stuff that made sense, but it was just great. Yeah, Rick says each person brings a different perspective towards retirement. It's true. It really is true. I want to do a video, spoiler alert, I want to, you know, do maybe even a small series. It's like, I started my, you know, it's funny, I started my channel with a video called Welcome to Retirement's Underrated. And so that video, my first one, ironically, was my most successful, only after a while. And it's like 26,000 views now. But I want to do a kind of, I don't know if it's really called a follow-up video, but I've heard a fair bit of people, you know, talk about, you know, what do you do during retirement? You know, they can't quite figure it out. They've been working all this time. So I want to talk about that a bit. You know, so I may call the video, so maybe you guys jump on this idea before I do, but I'm, you know, you'll give a different perspective for sure. But it's sort of like, welcome to retirement, now what? You know, it's sort of like you get there, but you haven't really planned for what you're going to do in retirement, but, you know, here it is upon you and you're retired, and what do you do? And so, you know, for me, back in 2023, in February, I decided to retire from work just because I was stressed out. I mean, I was in software development, working for a company called Leidos, supporting hospitals and moving, you know, doing a job which I knew I was a little bit inept. You know, it was an area that I wasn't experienced in, and it was, let's see, a day in the life of retirement in Sunbury. Yeah, you know, so I retired at that point, but you know, for stress reasons. So I retired, and you know, and there I was. You know, I definitely had things to work on. We were working on the house for years now, 3 years, and we finally came to an end of all the work we were doing. But, you know, each of us arrives in retirement in a different way. So I wanted to really talk about that. And, you know, maybe even people need to give themselves a break too, because you know, you get to retirement and you've been spending all your life working in a work environment. You've been busting your chops, doing stuff. You know, if you've had kids, you know, you're raising the kids, you're running from here to there. For us, my wife was at home with the kids because it was a break, you know, it just didn't make sense for her to work. You know, this was back around 2004. My son wasn't even 7. My daughter wasn't even 2 years old yet. And, you know, I started a new job at a hospital doing software development, writing reports, and so on. So, excuse me. And so it didn't make sense. If she were to go out and get a job working, most of what we would earn, or what she would earn, would have gone to childcare. And it's like, well, okay, for that little bit of money, if any, by the time she worked on, and she'd be working for pennies on the dollar, just for the sheer pleasure of working, plus all of the expenses that come along with working, with traveling and everything else, and food and clothes and whatever. So it didn't make sense. So she stayed home, and the kids turned out wonderful. And so, you know, I don't even know where, you know, here we go. I lost my train of thought where it was going. See, it happens. That's one of the risks. But, you know, we did without, but, you know, we made do. And so when retirement came about, we didn't have money during those years to do work on the house, so we did all of it recently with the last few years. So, you know, P.S. hit that thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Rick. Any thumbs up, or I wish I could say, you know, what do you call it, hype? The old hype. I found out, side note, hype, for those of you that didn't know, I did a little research into it because we had this conversation with Sam at Retired Inspired, and the hype button. You know, we were trying to figure out, well, his channel you can do the hype, and mine I couldn't find that option anywhere. Well, it turns out that the hype button is, you know, and that's really for, in order to, you know, it's funny, YouTube puts it out to promote small channels like this, and of course, but you can't have that until you grow to a certain point. So it's sort of counterintuitive. You can't have a hype button until you get to at least, you know, your first you have to be monetized to have it. So it's like, okay, so I have to be monetized before you hype me, and really the hype would have served me better at this point to get me monetized. So make sense of it of what you will, but you know, so the hype button, for those of you like me who aren't monetized yet, it ain't gonna happen. You won't get the hype option until you're monetized. So if you got that, if you're monetized at this point, definitely go into your settings. It's under your settings, and you can, I think it's under advanced settings, and you can enable the hype button, but that'll allow you to get your videos promoted. So, you know, definitely give that, you know, do everything you can to get your content out there, because, you know, you guys have some great stuff, and I love watching it for sure. So, you know, let's see. Oh, Sam, there you go. I quit working because I realized life is short, and I was in a position to afford to quit. Yeah, same here. I had, you know, so for me, I'd worked at a company called Meditech when I was younger for about 5 years. Then I worked for, let's see, then I went to another company. So I took some money from that. They had like an ESOP at Meditech, and then I worked for a company called MSN, which became Pisces, and I had, you know, an ESOP through them. And so I rolled one into the other, and then I didn't roll into the ESOP, but from MSN, but that became Pisces, and then that turned into some money when they went public with United Health. And then, of course, when I worked for the hospital group up here, yep, and you know, I worked for there, and then I started saving 6% of my salary, and every raise I got, I put in all my raises in, and so, you know, it added up over time, and you know, thank goodness for a coworker that talked me into it. But it gave me, I had gotten to that point really, and I did the same thing with Leidos, the last company I was at. So, you know, that put me in a position to be able to say, okay, I've had enough of this silliness, and I stopped, and I could replace my income. But that's me, and that was my circumstance, and not everybody has that, and nor does everybody need that. The biggest recommendation I can give folks is that, you know, live debt free if you can. Pay off your house. You know, if you don't have any debt, and I'm sure you guys chime in with your thoughts and opinions on this, but in my experience, if you don't have any debt and you're just living month to month, and you don't have any real expenses, now these last 3 years, it's hard to sort out some things because I was putting money into the repairs of the house, and then helping my children out a little bit with this and that, and then we had finished off college during that time. Well, Rick's got a roll, but thanks to him. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, thanks for coming, Rick. I appreciate you being here, and look forward to seeing your videos too. So, yeah. So, let's see. What was I saying? See, easily distracted. But yeah, you know, each of us approaches it differently. So if you can live debt free and not have a lot of expenses. So if you're not paying a mortgage and you're not paying rent, and you live in an area, unlike New York State, mind you, New York State is bloody expensive with the taxes and utilities. I just got a utility bill here in upstate New York. Now, granted, we had the air conditioner on a lot, but I had a $470 of electric bill. Yeah. And my utilities this past January and February were $1,200 for each month. So, you know, if you live in an area where utilities are reasonable and life is reasonable to live, you don't need a lot to retire. And so it all depends on your circumstances and what you've done. So, yeah, So I may do a few videos here and there about that sort of stuff. But you know, live frugally. You know, for me, my lifestyle is pretty basic. Once it's just my wife and myself again, I don't imagine spending too much. I mean, I don't. I mean, I have there's 5 boys in my family, so I'm the youngest of 5, and one brother's country club, and I'm country. Here I am with my suspenders and my jeans, and it rarely changes from that. So my needs are pretty simple here. So yeah, it's each of us, has different needs and wants. If you've got a higher lifestyle, then obviously you'll need more. So, but anyway, how's the weather in the rest of the country? I don't know if, who's still on, who hasn't talked about the weather situation, but we've definitely been getting it out here a ton. So, but anyway, guys, I probably should end it. We've been going 36 minutes, which probably is a while for me, but life's been good. Hot in Atlanta. Okay. Now are you getting the rain now, Robert? I saw from a weather channel I watch that there's a lot of rain, like there's a belt of rain coming through that way. And of course, we've gotten a lot up here in the New York area. There's a band of rain coming through. In fact, one area got 6 inches of rain, and my wife ran into troubles getting to work. Yeah, some days, okay. Yeah, my wife had to she tried 2 different routes to get to work today, and could only use one to get into the office. And she's going to be retiring soon, so I'm looking forward to her having that opportunity. So, yeah. So life's been good here. Learning some new things, and I look forward to learning some more video tools, and maybe do some fancier streams where I can share my screen and different things. But anyway, I will let you guys go and enjoy your afternoon. If you get a chance, right now, Mike, the agent retiree, is having a live stream, so I may pop on that and say hi to Mike, and maybe I'll see you over there. But I want to thank you for joining me and being a part of this stream, and I want to wish you all a great afternoon. Thanks for joining me. Best wishes to all. Bye-bye.